BBL round 1 is in the books. We have our results here, and it was solid. Let's just say that. For a round 1, we have plenty of improvement to come, and I think we will get there for sure, having been set up for a little bit more towards round 2, 3, and obviously round 5 there with a few stars as well. So with the squad now, sitting at 1,156 was our score for a season rank of 3,574 out of the 49,000. So yeah, a solid start and plenty of improvement to come. We will get into our round results and obviously everyone from here in a second, but let's go through that last game of the round there. And the Stars are an absolutely diabolical team, unfortunately. Have a couple of guys in there that can do great things. Obviously, we saw good Supercoach scores from guys like Bo Webster last year. Tommy Rogers was solid. Harper was solid. Harper in my team getting 5 out of 2 rounds was an absolute shocker. And he's one of those guys, him and Kane Richardson, that did cost me, unfortunately, this round from doing really, really well. Especially Sammy there, especially when I had guys like Tanvi Sanger and Jake Fraser-McGurk on my bench. So I didn't end up bringing in a looper, which going forward is going to help me because I'll have guys to loop with each and every week anyway, with guys on buys. But for this round 1, it didn't help me. There's a lot of teams you see there bringing in a Chowdhury to vice captain loop Munro, and then getting a decent score off the emergency. So it definitely works in that first round, but then you're missing out on that extra player each and every week from there. So there's a little bit of a trade-off. But in this one here, Stoinis struggling as well. Webster, obviously the 4. Hilton Cartwright, the only guy in this order that's actually doing pretty well with the bat. Both games in those first 2 games for the Stars. Larkin the duck early. And then from there, it was just kind of surviving from that point. Harris Ruff got 8 off 16 to kind of try and get them towards that 20 overs, and Liam Dawson picked up 22 as well. So obviously getting a team out for 101 for a run rate of 5.27, that means there's a lot of economy rate bonuses, and yeah, there was for all of them. Anyone who bowled 3 overs plus, which was Richardson, Barrendorf, McKenzie, and also Andrew Ty, all got nice economy rate bonus, and every single player got a wicket there. And Barrendorf 3 for 28, obviously a lower economy rate bonus, but it did get a maiden over in there, which is 15 points, amazing. And 3 wickets with that bonus as well. So yeah, if you started with any of these guys, obviously if you got the 2 games, guys like Barrendorf would have been incredible, and he's an awesome guy to be starting with in general. Someone that I definitely looked into, but him, Richardson, obviously Hardy, and Ty, all very expensive, but all very expensive for a reason. Hamish McKenzie ended up being a nice cash cow to start off. Again, only that, only the 1 proper game. Unfortunately, he didn't get to play in that, do anything in that first game. So price rises a little bit lower than what they could have been if they did have just the 1 game here. So all those guys really, really good. If you had Jai Richardson, obviously, the 2 wickets there, I was kind of death riding him. And Aaron Hardy came in and got a wicket and then snuck to 20 as well with the bat. So they survived and saved their scores, obviously really only playing the 1 game. Hardy picked up 20 points last game, and Cooper Connolly the 6. So, not too much from that first game, and then did pretty well here. And, they didn't have to work too hard with the bat. Connolly obviously opening, getting 20 off 9 is really good for our Supercoach stocks going forward. Hardy's 20 was solid as well. Got out to Osama Mir, who had a much better score in this one than he did in that first game, given he got 4 overs, 1 for 22. Here in an innings where they were never really in it, to be honest with you. There the 3 down was pretty consolation there, just under 14 overs getting those runs there. Stoinis did bowl at 2 overs but didn't help himself out with a few dot balls, but no wickets and no economy rate bonus. So frustrating for him. Harris Ralph only bowling the 2 overs as well, so they really tried to use the spinners in this one to pick up their wickets. So just firstly, guys, if you do want to follow the Supercoach Podmasters, Podmasters is what this page is here, run by Dr. Ando, Mr. Dr. Kando. So he just follows. He's got a big group of us here, or the podcasters, not Podmasters. He's getting me there, and unfortunately for me, not in the top 11 scores. Unfortunately, in my league was solid. I still lost. I ended up coming up against Kai, who's 3rd here and 1,000th overall. So a few decent scores in there in that one, but just follows all those guys. And I was obviously upset I haven't made any of the pictures here, but a good way to follow all of your podcasters you listen to and see how they go in the game that they talk about. So some decent scores overall to start. Let's see how it shakes out over the next few weeks. So let's jump into my team now. We did gain about 70 odd thousand, I believe, overall, which was helpful. And you can see here, my little public league they put me in up against a 366. That was a tough win. In the Podmasters Cup, lost to Kai, who had the third best score overall in the Podmasters, and then won my other couple of leagues there. The seeded league actually has the first overall guy in it, I'm pretty sure. No, scratch that. One of the seeded leagues has the guy that's coming first, which is pretty cool. Not this one, and I'm sort of fourth in total points in this one. So yeah, round one, plenty of things happen. I suppose the biggest thing to look at here is going to be the top rankings, and so I'm 1156. If you're looking at the top guys at the moment, you're seeing here that the best guy at the moment is Ryan with 1531. So plenty of points behind, unfortunately, about 380 for me. It's just under that, 375. So yeah, we'll have a look at his team there. The best thing about these first few is these are incredible scores, and they've absolutely crushed it already, made some decent team value, doing really well. The only problem I see here, and the main reason why we can catch up with the scores that we had, is that a lot of these guys went really hard on Brisbane Heat players, and they obviously don't have a double now until round 6, I believe. So these are guys that when they're in your squad, you're not going to be able to get many doubles. So you will have to trade a lot of these guys out, but considering the leader, he has 7 of those Heat players, you can only trade 3 out, which means you got 4 left. He then has some other options in guys like Philippi, Tom Curran, and Connolly. These kind of guys here who only play singles for a good while now. And that might be a position where it bites him, obviously having Chowdhury there to get Colin Munro's vice-captain score. The crazy thing here is he ended up having Spencer Johnson with the 30 and still topped the round. So incredible efforts there. And didn't even play Connolly, and actually got 10 out of Quinton de Kock only. So that's a bit of a play on next round and the following round there with Quinton, just to get ahead of the game on that one, which is pretty cool. But yeah, incredible score. But you see that with a few of these guys that they aren't as well set up for the following round. So hopefully that is our ticket out of trying to catch up to these guys, and then they have that looper now that isn't a fresh player each and every week. And as I said, a lot of the time we're going to be able to loop pretty comfortably. Obviously, with Stars players this week, we've got Adelaide and also Heat players in round 3, and then we can go from there in our looping efforts. So, yeah, this team here, obviously a bunch of Heat players as well, and sixes in that one, and then having Chowdhury in there as well. So I think it's 7 Heat players again in that one. So that's pretty consistent across those first bunch of teams, and the reason why these teams scored really well was the fact that they had a lot of Heat players who did get a double and did have some nice scoring games in those doubles. They were pretty high scoring. They got the full game in, whereas a lot of these others, obviously the Renegades didn't get their 2 games, the Scorchers didn't get their 2 games. If you had a few of the Sixers, there's a bunch of them did pretty well as well. So anyone that got the full 2 games, and if you had many of those players in your squad, you managed to do really well. So that's where those teams are sitting, and just gives us a little bit of a chance anyway to catch up to these guys. But we do want to try and make that at least a couple hundred points back on them in the next few weeks would be my kind of plan here. Obviously with the Adelaide guys, it's going to be cool, and then going from there. For some reason my computer's not liking it, so let's just jump into this one against Kai there, and just show you my team, how it ended up, and discuss from there. Okay, my squad in the end ended up with Captain Curran, so that was pretty solid. Obviously, I viced Nisa instead of Munro. If I did vice Munro, I would have ended up probably doing similar to what the champ did, Andrew, and popping in David Payne as a vice, considering I dropped down a fair bit of cash. So that would have been the play, I think, just to have him ready to go for next round. And he's definitely someone that I'll be looking to target anyway. Him or Wes Agar, I think, is one of my bowlers heading into round 2 there. But lots of good scores. Obviously, Kuhneman, very, very happy with. Got some a good little rise out of him. Harper, Kane Richardson were my main issues. Zampa still made a little bit of cash. Billings was a little bit down. I think we're probably going to hold on to Billings, which we'll discuss in a future video this week. But just looking for him to be a looping option in the wicket-keeping position. At the moment, I have him, I have McDermott, and also Harper. So this week with Harper on the bye, I could definitely loop one of McDermott or Billings if I do hold on to him. And I think it might likely be Kuhneman, Munro, and Nisa. the question would be Munro or Curran, and I think Curran just has a better role. Obviously, Munro has a bye in round 3. If I kept him as well, I'd have 4 guys out. So removing him just has 3, and then I can play Curran in that round. And hold him for a little bit longer, I think, is going to be cool, given he has a really, really good role. And I believe round 3 they play the Stars, so that's going to be a fun one for him, you'd imagine, with the way that the Stars are playing. I did have a couple of good scores on the bench with Fraser McGurk and obviously Tanvi Sanger, so hopefully looping Sanger, given he's the first game this week, is going to be cool. But we do have to wait sort of 6 days until that next round, so Manenti and Short, hopefully they both play, and I can play those guys on their double, which will be cool, and then bring in 3 more strikers. So yeah, set up pretty solidly, guys. Obviously, yeah, just a couple of guys that kind of cooked our score this week in Richardson and Harper. We got most of the other picks right. Guys like Jack Edwards, guys like Hamish McKenzie, all and obviously Swepson all scored well as some of our cheaper guys that we could have added into the side as well. Having one of them over a Sam Harper or Richardson would have been cool, but that just brings me down 1 peg in a double in round 3, which I wouldn't have had a Harper or a Richardson. So it is what it is. Could have potentially looped, but again, would have been having to bring in David Payne. I think I don't think I would have went the Chowdhury route, just because that has me a player down from the following week. So that's where we're at with my squad. We'll get into my trades a lot closer to game day, but thank you for being here across the first round. It's been fun making these videos for you, and I hope your team went well. Let me know in the comments how you went, and if you have any questions from there. See you guys.